Hi, this is Professor Alexander coming to you from the Hood to Higher Education Studio, and we are going to talk about effective note taking skills and listening today. I'm glad that you guys can join me. This is chapter 6, and remember, it takes a village. Mm. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it today. So now, this is chapter 6 out of our peak performance book, listening and note taking skills. The learning objectives for this particular chapter is to list effective listening strategies, describe the various note taking systems, and identify ways to overcome note taking obstacles with better habits. Now, this can seem frustrating, especially when you're trying to attend class. Instead of trying to use critical thinking and creative problem solving to understand why you are not listening, you should try writing in a journal. The journals that are described in chapter 6 will help you start to develop your note taking skills using shorthand and using long form note taking skills. So, listening to the message. Be willing to listen. Be open to new ideas. And if you have an idea that is not in tune with what you agree with, write down write down these conflicts in your journal. It can help you observe the results from the communication breakdown and the ineffective listening. You'll have at least one class in which you'll have difficulty listening to the instructor or taking notes, and that could be the instructor talks too fast, or the instructor is hard to follow. There might be a thick accent. But what are ways in which you're going to take notes? Maybe even comparing your notes to classmates and peers after class. There are strategies that you can use to listen actively, taking more detailed notes, ways of staying alert and being assertive. Position yourself to listen. And this could mean just sitting in the front of the classroom, having your pen and pad ready to take notes. It sounds simple, but you'll be surprised how many people don't practice these techniques. Reduce distractions. Try to minimize the noise in the background. Show that you're listening. And we're going to talk about ways that you can show that you're listening by paraphrasing, by asking questions, and writing down the information that you can receive into your own words. Create an alert and a healthy state of mind. So a healthy state of mind is just getting adequate sleep, being attentive, being ready to learn. An alert can come in the form of an alert that goes off on your phone when it's time to take notes, or when it's time to be in class. Be quiet. It is hard to take notes when you are constantly talking. Stay focused. Show empathy, respect, and a genuine interest. Try to connect it to something that is in your life. If you can find meaning with the notes that you're taking, it will help you process that information, and it'll help you take better notes. Observe the speaker. Observe the speaker's mannerisms. A lot of communication is nonverbal, so pay attention when the instructor is using hand gestures or pointing to the board, because they may be pointing at something on the board that's going to be on the test. Also, pay attention to when your instructor repeats things or even mentions this might be on the quiz, this might be on the test. That is of great importance. Predict and ask questions. Integrate your learning styles and use all of your senses. And postpone judgment. Be the receiver of the information. Don't be so critical. Don't be so judgmental as soon as the information comes in. You want to just take it in, digest it, and then make a decision based on that information just given. So, how to be an attentive listener. These are some of the strategies. Now, sometimes it is challenging to be attentive in certain situations. This is probably the part of the class, if we were face to face, I would ask you to break up in groups and ask you what situations are difficult to listen to. are people that are difficult to listen to? Is it your roommates? Is it classmates, parents, co-workers? Is it hard to listen to directions? Is it hard to listen in meetings, friends, to siblings? What are some of the situations in which you have the most trouble listening? And how does listening affect students' relationship with your family and friends? And you want to try to list examples of what it takes to be an effective listener. So these 3 bullet points: paraphrase, assess, and practice awareness. Okay, paraphrase basically just means taking in the whole message, seeking to understand the intent of the speaker, look at body language, tone, choice of words, and gesture. Do not interrupt. When you ask questions, you show interest. You don't want to be dismissive or judgmental if you disagree. Stay with the message and seek to clarify and to understand. Evaluate the quality of your listening skills on a day-to-day basis, because it may be some days where you say, I could have taken notes a lot better than I did. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to work on that. And just practicing with attentiveness, practice with awareness. All right, recording the message or note taking. A method of creating order and arranging thoughts and materials to help a person retain information. The importance of taking notes consistent with the learning styles is critical. This will lead you into a greater understanding of the material. You should always assess your learning style, and you should be encouraged to experiment and try a combination of different note-taking styles. So we're going to talk about the Cornell West. The Cornell system has been around for a long time. It's helped students to organize their information. In fact, I'm going to be uploading a short video on how to take the Cornell Method notes. Okay, also referred to as T notes. This method can be used to integrate text with lecture notes. It can also be modified to suit each student's needs and style. Do you add notes to your Cornell notes? Do you doodle, color, draw pictures? Do you write in the margins? Or do you even abbreviate words? These are all things that can help you remember some of your note-taking things that you wrote down, where you can recall them for that test. The next, we're going to talk about mind maps. This note-taking method will enable you to perceive the whole message as well as inner relationships between the parts. Do you like to use a visual method for taking notes, or do you like to use a combination? Okay, mind maps typically starts with the main idea placed in the center of a page and branches out with subtopics through association and patterns. A combination of note-taking systems. We have highlighting, organizing, comparing, contrasting, and looking for patterns. We also have the formal outline, a creative outline, mind map, the Cornell method, or T notes, or a combination of any of these. You also want to look at common symbols for note taking that I'm going to be uploading to the course as well, that you can look at. Just common, quick strategies, quick ways to write down things. And I typically, if this were face-to-face, I would typically ask students for suggestions of what they use, because I like to incorporate those as well. So you want to assess your note-taking skills. Do you use shorthand? Do you use shorthand to help you save time? Do you edit and review the notes after class? This is essential. Do you use a traditional outline, a mind map, Cornell notes? Do you use a combination? Do you take the notes while reading the textbooks? There are strategies for effective note taking, and I just want to know which tips work best for you. Other strategies are preview the material before you even launch into it. Just preview it before you take a deep dive. This will help make connections and form understanding later on. Go to every class and be on time. And I got to a point as a student where I like to sit in the first 2 rows just so I can hear everything that's going on, and I usually cut down on my distractions. Use all of your senses and the VARC system. Okay. Make notes, take it active and physical. Link information and reduce to the essentials. Okay. That can mean just removing everything off of your desk and making sure your desk is clear and not cluttered, just with a pen and a pad, or if you like to take notes on your laptop. And remember, the VARC is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic systems. Organize your notes. Okay, organize your notes. Use note cards. Expand on those notes from others. Use your electronic device. If you have a teacher that allows you to use your laptop, then bring your laptop and try to organize those thoughts somewhere on a file, and have a file for every class. If you're going to use your laptop, have a file for every class. If you're going to use a different notebook, a small notebook for every class, these are different ways to organize. And I'm a big fan of Post-it notes. I would have Post-it notes all throughout my textbooks with notes that I've taken for each chapter. You can either use Post-it notes, you can use flashcards. It's kind of like placeholders. You have to develop a system that works for you. Assess and review your notes. Summarize in your own words. Edit and revise your notes. Create a sample test. This is like a practice test that you take before your test. Students that have done this, statistically, they have earned a higher grade than students that have not used a sample test. Use visual cues. You may like to draw something or doodle that's connected to a thought or idea. Review your notes. Monitor and evaluate. Here are some note-taking websites that you can use. Evernote.com, google.com/keep is a way for you to track your notes and keep up with those. And OneNote.com, that's been around for a while. And last but not least, SimpleNote.com. So remember, the importance of eliminating non-essential materials from key points during note-taking is essential. Okay, you want to try to tease out the main points, summarize those in order to recall that for the test. You always want to ask yourself when you're taking notes and when you're reading text, what is important? How does this connect to the other material? This is a good time to connect strategies from other chapters. You want to ask yourself how attending every class and sitting in the front row helps you listen and take better notes. How completing reading and homework assignments can improve note taking. These are all interconnected. What have you learned about time management that would help you take better notes? And how increasing your energy and improving your health can help you stay alert. How a positive attitude and a motivated state of mind can increase the ability to listen actively. These are all things that will help you take better notes. You all have been great. You guys are going to come out on the other end of this chapter better note taking. You're going to learn how to organize your thoughts and ideas and present them, and organize the thoughts of your presenter. After watching this lecture, pay attention to the uploaded video on Cornell Notes. I'm going to upload a video on mind mapping, and use some of those resources that were described at the end of the chapter. And remember, folks, it takes a village. That's all for now. Peace. I'll talk to you guys soon.